Once the floor has had sufficient cure time, it is time to start the grinding and polishing stages. When working with self-leveling cements, it's not uncommon to have areas that end up as high or low spots, and that's the case here. The cement can either end up lower than the top of the divider strip, or the divider strip can end up higher than the actual self-leveling overlay cement. In this case, we were using a hand grinder with an 80 grit easy grind diamond attachment to smooth out areas like this. This can also be used on edges. We are also using the corresponding grit on the walk behind grinder, which is called a CA40, which is an 80 grit metal bond diamond to do our first coarse initial grinding. Here, aluminum strips were attached to the subfloor, which, as you can see, sometimes smears during the initial stages of the grinding. It's best to try and use zinc, stainless, or brass strips to avoid this smearing. Fortunately for us, we were able to work with the smears out with successive passes with the grinder. After cutting the floor open with our 80 grit metal bond diamonds, we then applied DCI lithium-based densifier. We allowed the densifier to sit on the surface, keeping the surface wet for approximately 15 to 20 minutes, and roughly 1 hour later, we went to our next step. Our next step was to run the hybrid resin diamond tooling referred to as BB5s, which is a hybrid 100 grit diamond that really takes any remaining scratches off. Once this was complete, we switched to the next sequence of grits with the specialty diamonds that were referred to as Phoenix pads. And as you can see, by using the Phoenix pads, the floor really starts to take a high degree of luster and a high shine as well. This is where the floor really starts to transform itself. We started with the blue Phoenix pad, which is 200 grit. We then proceeded to the white Phoenix pad, which is the 800 grit, and then we finished off with the 3000 grit Phoenix pad, which you'll see in the next sequence of videos. So you need to consider using specialty pads like this for polishing self-leveling overlay cements. And when a polishing job goes well and is successful, that makes for a real happy equipment operator. Hi, Ron. Stay tuned for our next series.